Good morning, my name is Kristen Taylor. Today I will be presenting my persuasive speech on why younger children should stay sitting in their booster seats. Think about any young child you may know. Does he or she ride in a booster seat? Or did they just start riding in a regular seat straight out of their car seat? Chances are they more than likely need to be in a booster seat. And before you take your child out of their car seat to put them in just a regular seatbelt, they need to stay sitting in a booster seat. There are actually a lot of regulations and suggestions, so I'm going to read some of those suggestions on ages to you guys. The child should stay sitting in a rear-facing car seat from birth up to age 2. Forward-facing car seat from age 2 up to at least age 5. A booster seat from age 5 until the seatbelt fits properly. The recommended height for proper seatbelt height is 57 inches. So meaning your child should be at least 57 inches and the correct weight before you put them in a regular seatbelt. If a child is not the proper height, he or she can suffer internal organ damage or even spinal damage if they were to be in an accident. So that's very important to remember, because if you were to risk your child's safety, basically, if they were to be in a seatbelt and it's behind their back or across their chest, and you were to slam on the brakes or be in an accident, if they didn't slide under the seatbelt, their organs could be severely damaged, or their spinal cord, or even worst case scenario, they could die because of the accident. If you think about it, most of the children are not the correct height until he or she is between 8 and 12 years old. Think about the children you thought of earlier. Are they between 8 and 12 and not in a booster seat? It's crazy, I know. My little cousin, she's super, super little, but she's 12 years old, and she's not the correct height or the correct weight. She still has to sit in a booster seat because she was in an accident not too long ago where her sister was learning how to drive and turned into sharply to a driveway, and Corbeth flew through the seat. She was in a seatbelt, but she slid under the seatbelt, hit the middle console in their Suburban, and cracked her head completely open. And if it was just by the grace of the Lord that she is okay, but she could have suffered severe damage. So now she has to sit in a booster seat, and she hates it, but she knows that her head really hurt when she was in an accident. So there are a lot of proper ways to sit in a booster seat, or to have your child sit in their booster seat. So I'm just going to read some of those. Remember, the safest place for all children 12 years and under is in the back seat. Not necessarily saying the third row, but that's just saying don't put them in the front seat. Don't put their booster seat in the front seat. It's not safe. The airbag will more than likely kill them, but if not, just severely damage their organs. Place the booster seat on the vehicle seat. Once your child is sitting in the seat will fasten the lap/shoulder belt around him/her. Many models offer safety belt positioners to help keep the shoulder portion of the belt positioned correctly. So you have to have the belt properly across the child's chest, because if you don't, then that's where the organ damage comes into play. Only install the belt positioning booster seat with the latch or the tether system, if allowed by both the vehicle and car seat manufacturer. So there are a lot of things that go into a booster seat. It's not just, let's go to Walmart and buy one. You have to make sure that it's going to properly fit your child, and that it's properly going to fit your car, that the latch system will work with your seatbelt. So there's a lot that goes into this, and a lot of people don't realize that. I know my mom didn't when I was showing her my presentation. She had no idea that all of this needs to come into play when you're buying your child a booster seat. The shoulder belt should never be placed behind your child's back or under their arm. That was a big thing for me when I was a child. I always wanted to put the seat belt behind my back or under my arm because I hated the way it cut on my neck. Well, I should have never been in a seatbelt or a booster seat period at that time, because I remember when I was in the booster seat, still cut me right here. I should have still been in a car seat. I should not have been in a booster seat yet. So that's very important to realize. You have to make sure that your child, does the safety belt test. Make sure their feet are properly placed on the floor, that sort of thing. So a lot comes into play with booster seats and social issues. So some parents know that booster seats are the way to go, but their child just completely argues. It says no, 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 no. Sometimes it is because their friends may make fun of them, which is very sad, but in today's world, it's the truth. I remember when I was supposed to be in a booster seat, and I had older siblings that weren't in, or older cousins that weren't in a booster seat. Like, I did not want to be in a booster seat because they weren't in a booster seat. So it's like that. It's not fair game. And honestly, like, as a parent, you just need to make sure that your child is up to date on, let them learn about safety and the precautions that they should take, because if there were to be an accident, they could be damaged, and they would have been like, man, Mom, why didn't you put me in my booster seat? So teach your children, like I just said, the importance of safety at a young age, and that booster seats are cool. Perhaps pretend that it's a race car driver's seat. And that was an example that I came up with, because when I babysit, I like to, pretend that when I'm feeding them, it's like an airplane, landing. Same for a booster seat. Pretend they are in control. Pretend, not necessarily bribe them some way, but let them know that, it's okay, it's cool. So if your vehicle has a head restraint where your child will be sitting, you may use a backless belt positioning booster, which will offer them the safety of a correctly fit safety belt without the perception of riding in a car seat, since it will not be seen from the outside. So that just goes back to more social issues and making it cooler for the older kids. Because I know several 12-year-olds that would just be so, I'm not doing this. I'm not riding in a booster seat. So a fun fact for you guys is that most child restraint laws are enforced on a primary basis, meaning law enforcement may stop vehicles and cite drivers solely for child passenger law violations. So in several states, you actually, this is the law. This is not a social issue, or I may want to put my child in a booster if I'm not sure. It's the law. You can get cited for it. If you have one of those baby on board seats in a cop, they can pull you over just because you have that sticker and check to see if your children are correctly in their booster seat, or if they're in a seatbelt, are they safe? So this is a kind of a chart for you guys. There's a little closer look on it. But anyways, there you can see it. It kind of shows the different ages like we talked about earlier, and how, they should say in a rear-facing car seat when it can be turned a booster seat, and then when they can be in a regular seat belt. So I have a YouTube video for you guys to watch. It's just a short clip.
Mom, is it Christmas today? Hey, Mom, snacks.
They're in the back, bud. Okay. I've got it covered. I got some good ones.
Mom, tell me again, where was he at in the car?
He was in the back.
Was he in a booster seat?
No, I mean, he's 9. He's almost 10 years old.
There's a possibility he has some damage to his major organs, okay?
Doctors say when adult seatbelts don't fit kids correctly, they can actually do more damage to internal organs and the spinal column. Experts say children do not fit into an adult seat until they're at least 4 foot 9 inches tall. They recommend you do a seatbelt fit test in each vehicle, since all vehicles are different. Here's how.
Well, what we're looking at is the seatbelt fit test, making sure before a child goes into the seatbelt system that the child can sit all the way back, sitting upright, with their knees bending at the front edge of the seat, their feet resting flat on the floor, allowing the shoulder belt to properly come across the shoulder, across the chest, so it's not over on the neck.
And something Anita was just asking is one of the...
So, as you can see, the video is pretty much everything that we talked about. Here are just a few more just guidelines. But so as you can see, the video is very scary. It suggests that a child do a seatbelt test to see if they are the correct height before being taken out of a booster seat. I hope that each of you forward this information because you may be able to save a life. Thank you all for listening to my speech today. Sorry, the lighting is really bad. I hope you all learned a lot from this speech today. Remember, 4'9" is the average height for a child to be able to ride without a booster seat. Thank you for listening to my speech.